with all of you to mention the next Saturday evening, we're having our Lincoln dinner, so 1 week from today. Tickets are still available. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be kind of similar to this, but with different candidates. So we're going to have legislative candidates. We're going to have a Mark Fitzpatrick who's running for governor. We're going to be able to ask questions. It's going to be a good time. So just want to invite you all to get tickets. You can see me afterwards. If you need a ticket, I can give you directions on that.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Okay, we're going to start with our county commissioners coming up next. We have 3 candidates for county commissioners here. One of them is currently running unopposed. So we are going to let him, where is he? Come on up and give us an opening statement, but we're going to focus on questions for our 2 candidates who are running against each other. So we'll start with you, Joe.
I'm glad to be here. I was expecting to be up here with these guys and answer some questions. And I appreciate, what they've done. And it's very difficult to stand. It's easy to be out there and judge, but it's really hard to stand here. Even though I know most of you, it's hard to stand here and talk to you. But I'm proud to be a county commissioner. I've been a commissioner for 9 years in May. So it's been a while. I was appointed by the governor. The Republican Central Committee submitted my name, and I was appointed by the governor. I got the opportunity to learn and work with Mike Paradis, which was fantastic. He's one of my really good friends. But as a commissioner, we get the terrible job of making the final decisions when it comes to the budget, and the budget is very important to me. That's where we're using your tax dollars to do the things that we need to do to make the county better, or just to make it function. But one thing I do want to share with you is, as we talk about, the assessor was talking about values, and someone asked the question of how when your assessed value goes up, and one thing that people don't realize is when your values go up, that your property taxes tend not to go up. So as values go up and there's more building, more money's coming in the pot, we don't get to capture all that money. That money equalizes the debt, and so your taxes can go down. So I think most of you might know that, but it's something that I learned, and I'm just appreciative that I can serve the community, and it is nice not having an opponent and not having that stress. Thank you. And I'm going to be around, listen to this, and then I'll be around afterwards. So if anybody has questions for me, please come up and answer. You can need my phone number. I'll give you my personal number. You can always call me. I don't mind taking phone calls. And then lastly, I do want to introduce my beautiful wife, Carrie Dawn, back there. She supports me in everything that I do. And then also, like I said, I know most of you, but we've lived here for 16 years, but we've ranched here for 24 years. So a year after we got married, so we've been coming here, and this is where we always wanted to be. We love council, and we love Warren Creek. So thank you, and I look forward to serving you more for 4 years. I think it's a 4-year term I'm getting, so thank you.
And if that sparked questions for any of our other candidates, we are going to open it back up after we get to the commissioners. And so keep those in the back of your mind, and we'll open it up to everybody at the end for just a little bit. And we'll also have a chance to ask questions about the levy at the end. But now we're going to move on to our rates for county commissioner over here, starting with opening statements. We'll start with Kyle Johnson.
You guys better start your timer.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'd like to give glory to God for all of us to get the opportunity to come up here and talk. My name's Kyle Johnson. I've lived in the upper country since October of 2012. I have got to work with most of the upper country from Midvale to Cascade to Riggins for the last 13 years. I worked at the co-op for 5 years delivering fuel, diesel, fertilizer, anything farm related. Currently I am employed at the Napa in town, and I'm known as the big loud hairy guy. I wish my wife could be here, but she's serving our community as we speak. She's a dispatcher for Adams County. My children, I have a beautiful family. We live over on 305 South Fairfield. I have deep roots here, and I don't plan on leaving. I am committed to this community fully. I do a lot of stuff for the community. I have a kickboxing class at the rec center. I got to coach basketball this year, which I'm very thankful for. I'm a volunteer firefighter, and I help anybody who needs a hand. And I care about this place probably just as much as anybody else in here. And I feel that it is my civic duty, as it is all of our civic duties, to run for public office. That's how we keep the powers at bay. Everything anybody does in any of these offices is for us. So, with that being said, my name is Kyle Johnson, and I'd like to be your commissioner. Thank you.
Is it working?
I think so. Hello, everyone. My name is Darren Ward. First, I'd like to thank everyone for showing up tonight. It's amazing to see this large of a crowd. Just to give you a little background, I was born and raised down in Canyon County, so right now there's about 280,000 people in Canyon County. From years of going to political things, there's not this many people in Canyon County that shows up to something. So you guys should give yourself a round of applause for that. So second, I would like to introduce my wife, Marcella. She'll probably kill me for saying that, but we have been married for 37 years. I know it's hard to believe looking at her. For me, it's not quite as hard to believe. But we have 3 kids, 3 grandchildren. Just been Idaho native, born and raised down in Middleton, like I said. If you guys remember Middleton from the 1980s, 1990s, it was about the size of this town. It's about 15,000 people now. That's what led Marcella and I to come up here in 2020. I retired from the sheriff's office, was lucky enough to find a place up on the top of Fort Hall Hill, away from everyone. Just an amazing, amazing area. After being up here for just a little bit of time, I started seeing just things that were going on in this county and how growth is occurring, how all of these things are happening. And it made me worry just a little bit of what I have seen down in the valley and how things are moving up this way. So it made me think I have to get involved to at least try to share what happened down there and learn from mistakes that were made from other areas. So during my time I was in Middleton, I spent 8 years on city council, where the city went from that small 900 people up to several thousand. And you know, I'm a firm believer that an area is either growing or dying. There's not you can't just stay stagnant. If you're stagnant, it's still going to die. So it's how do you manage that growth? And it's very difficult. There's laws you have to work in. And I just, from hearing around town, everybody says, well, we don't want growth. There's no way to stop it. You just have to try to manage it to make it to where we don't lose the way of life that everybody loves here. Like I said, this is my fourth year. I guess it was a 4-year term, so it must be the 4th year. I spent a year going to the commissioner meetings, got to watch Mike and Joe and Vicky in action for the year prior to getting in there. And the biggest thing I probably learned was, after a year of going to those meetings, you still have no idea what's going on in the county, because there's so much other stuff that happens besides just those meetings each month, or every other week. So, I'm done. Thank you.
we're gonna open it up to questions from the audience. I'm sure you have a lot, so don't be shy. This looks like shy.
I was just curious, you mentioned growth, and that's one of the things I've been concerned about, because I am part of council growing, because I've only been here about 8 years, and I just wanted to know, like, what do you guys foresee for future growth with our county, and how it would be managed? Do you have any, like, ideas what that might look like?
You know, I think, I can't talk while I'm sitting there. So. For growth, all we can do is look at it. First and foremost, I believe we've got to make sure our comprehensive plan, our subdivision ordinances, all of those are as up to date as we can get them, to try to just make it to where a developer is looking at this county and they already know what we're thinking. The problem is if they throw an application on the desk today and it meets the ordinances, it is really, really hard to stop whatever that is coming in. And I don't think anybody wants to stop everything, but we do have to manage it. So it's just making sure our ordinances are all up to date.
I agree with what he said about, but we need to facilitate the pace of how it's growing. I don't know, I mean, I'm sure you're all aware, but I have a feeling that these mining companies, like up on Cuddy, once Stibnite opens, once they open it, they say it's a 15-year, 15 or 20 years out. I have a feeling it's going to be a little sooner than that. And we should be prepared and facilitate the rate of growth. That way, like I know they have subdivision laws in place, because we don't want a housing development, you don't want one in your neighborhood, and I understand that. We have to come up with a comprehensive plan to facilitate the rate of growth versus just letting them come in. And because what happens is when you bring in multi-family units and then now they're bringing their nieces, nephews, cousins, brother-in-laws, and our infrastructure is not set up for that. And it's going to take a lot of replanning to make all that work.
Yep.
Well, along those lines, Idaho is not only Adams County, but Idaho is one of the fastest growing states in the nation. People are moving all over with a lot of different priorities and viewpoints. Along those lines, from 2006 to 2008, Adams County reviewed and updated their comprehensive planning, zoning ordinance, and the road ordinance. Now, they're supposed to be updated and renewed periodically. So my question is, do you support plans or the plan to update those ordinances? And are you going to involve the public in those updates or anything like that?
I would like to involve the public in anything we do, because that's what we're doing it for. We're doing it for Adams County. And I think you could have open forums on it and then go back and discuss what the people want, and you could probably put it up to a vote on the ballot in the next couple of years for ordinances to go through. I'd like to see less ordinances, but maybe rewritten for the right way, the right thing to do for our community. If that makes sense. Mike, you did that for 20 years. You should probably come up and give the answer on that.
That's why I'm sitting over here.
So I agree, yes, we do need to, excuse me, update those ordinances. They do have to be pretty much continuously looked at to see, because things do change. We have done a few in the last couple of years, some changes, and I did bring up probably 2 months ago of setting a special meeting each month to go through different sections, because Mike, you know, as we're meeting, there are so many things you're going through during that time. If you are going to do a major change to an ordinance or the comp plan, something like that, you have to devote a specific time period just to that. The second part of that question, you asked about public input, and that absolutely, I mean, besides just being mandated by the statute to say we will for public hearings, it is only the right thing to make sure that the Board of Commissioners is in the same line as what the community wants, because that's what we're there for.
Let's see, who else has a question? We have,
I actually have a follow-up on mine,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Follow-ups
I'm
are
sorry.
fine.
This is one that's taken to my heart recently, so.
With the growth that we've been seeing here, when I first moved here, I never ever heard or saw an ambulance. It was like totally quiet, okay? There was nothing. I've noticed I see the highway from my backyard at this point in time, and I see them going constantly now. So my concern question is with our growth, our ambulance services here are currently BLS only. We do not have any ACLS, which means we depend on life flight if we have a true, like, oh my gosh, emergency going on. So my question is, as we grow, or maybe even as we grow slowly, is there any intention to provide services within our county for ACLS units so that if we are having a heart attack, there is a paramedic, there are medications, and it's not just CPR and oxygen?
Short answer is yes. The county is planning for that. When you do get your ballot this year, you're going to see a supplemental levy trying to get some funding up for our EMS. I'm sure all of you have seen the news from everywhere. Idaho as a whole has not done a good job of getting the needed resources to EMS. Just the way the tax structure, everything is set up. So that's why you will see this supplemental levy on there to get additional funds to there to get it up to a CLS, ALS?
Yes,
ALS.
advanced cardiac
Yes.
life support.
Yep.
Thank you.
I personally would, Go ahead. I personally would like to see a paramedic here. So we live in the middle of nowhere. Like, you get to either ride to Weezer, or you get a ride to McCall, or you get Lifeline. I'd actually like to see the numbers. I don't know what the exact number is, but I bet Adams County calls Lifeline more than any other county in the state, unfortunately. Being a previous EMT, I think there's a lot of things that have to change if we want to have ALS here. That is going to have to be restructured. Because if we do continue to grow at the rate we're going, like, there will have to be one here sooner or later. But just like the rest of the emergency services in this valley and in Adams County, like, they're spread thin, you know. Adams County sheriffs, you know, a lot of the time there's only 2 deputies on. A lot of the EMS are still volunteer, or they tried to pay me when I was going, I didn't want to get paid. So I think they're all on some kind of pay scale now, but I'm sure some of them are on a volunteer basis, or they get paid by the call, or however you want to put that. But I mean, even like the stuff in New Meadows, that they have a thing going on up there. I'm still kind of in the middle of the road there. Like, I think if the people voted in, maybe they should be able to handle their EMS district through the Meadows Valley Fire Station. But then again, what if it fails? Then it falls back on the taxpayers, because then we're going to have to go up there and pay money to get it all straightened out again. I think even, the fire stuff, that's a volunteer only unit. So we get a call, we drop whatever we're doing. If we have that opportunity, we show up and do it. Our resources here are so thin that it's gonna take, I think, quite a bit more growth before any of that changes. Which, I'm still fine with. Personally, I lost my mom 2 weeks ago tomorrow, and it took EMS 20 minutes to get there. I get it. I was there, I've been in that position. There's gonna have to be some serious major changes for that to happen, and that's gonna equal to the expansion of the sheriff's office. You might have to have a paid fire service. There's a lot of things that are gonna have to change for all that to come into play for all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Just as a reminder, we had a write-up about the Council Valley Ambulance Supplemental Levy in the paper 2 weeks ago, I think, Nate, 2 weeks ago, and maybe we can post that online, perhaps? Yes, we can post that online for people who are interested in questions and answers about that particular levy and the proposed update to the services, because we do not have, I don't think we have a representative from the Council Valley Ambulance here today talking about that levy. Let's move on to, I saw another hand a minute ago. Yes, over here.
For those in the audience that don't know me, I'm Mark Mahon, owner of Mahon Logging. So our company is responsible, mostly on my shoulders. I am responsible for the largest payroll, non-government payroll in this county. Over $1.5 million of gross payroll goes through our books. Okay, my industry is the timber industry. I make a living, I pay my men to deliver timber products to these sawmills. I lived through the heydays. I've been here 54 years. I remember the heydays when we had sawmills and we had trucks and we were harvesting timber. So you guys are talking about growth. The community's concerned about how to fund EMS and services. Our school is in dire need. Okay, this county is 68% owned by the federal government. Okay. That is a cash cow. Right now, the Trump administration is making drastic changes to reorganize the Forest Service. Okay, that is your answer. That's your golden goose. Okay, okay. It rains and it takes sunlight. The stuff grows. Right? I can turn it into money. Okay. Right now, Vicki Purdy and Joe are great stewards and great advocates for my industry. Okay, I have spent hours talking about this issue to those folks. Will you guys follow in that example and be an advocate and let's try to get this industry going again. Let's help fund our schools with timber dollars instead of cranking up taxes. Let's put out fires. Let's make money from fires. Let's support anything that we can do to get a product out of the woods. And we will make you the money instead of trying to come up with other funny math to make it happen. But I don't hear it. I don't see it very much from you guys, and that hasn't been said yet tonight.
Yeah, what are you guys going to do for the timber industry?
Make council log again.
Yeah!
I know that was a smart-ass joke, but those are going to be the big industries. It's going to be logging, mining. Well, mining is going to be pretty big, but logging industry has been here a long time. And if somebody's willing to pony up the money for it, I'm sure, I don't see why it couldn't come back. That's my personal opinion.
don't have to, you just have to support it.
I do.
We need you guys to advocate for this industry and fight to get our industry back.
It should probably be one of your top priorities to do that.
And then
I love the fight.
your budget problems are gone.
Awesome, let's hear from Darren.
We have a prosperous Adams County.
So Mark, I'm 100% behind logging. I'm not sure, you mentioned the other two commissioners, but not me as in support of them. I'm not positive what I've done that would tell you otherwise. I don't know of any votes where we have tried to do anything that I have voted against. So I am a strong advocate that the county and the federal government, whether it be the Forest Service, wherever it is, we have to work together. We are not going to agree on things, but we do have to work together. So I don't want to fight against them all the time, but as for logging, I'm 100% behind logging. I'm also 100% behind prescribed burns, as long as prescribed burns don't burn our whole forest down. It's all part of that whole, I'm not an expert in that. There are people that are there that are experts, so we have to work with them. As for actual logging, 100%, that is the natural resource in this county, so we do need to use it.
All right, I'm gonna go to a question that was pre-submitted. Oh, do we already have a microphone on there?
We got one here,
Okay, go ahead.
3 actually.
Well, I just wanted to clarify a couple things. As far as the EMS and council goes, we did hire a paramedic, a very well-trained paramedic. He was a flight paramedic in Iraq. He's got a tremendous amount of administrative knowledge, and he's doing a great job. He's been in there for probably about 6 or 7 weeks now, and he's really turning things around and getting the budget in line, so because we were way over budget when he took over. So if you feel so inclined to support the override levy, that would be probably really helpful, because I think we want to keep that going, and we want to keep him, he's training, he's getting everybody up to speed on all the rules for putting reports in and how quickly they need to be put in so that the insurance pays, and they'll get more money for that. It's really going to turn things around. So I hope you have some confidence in that. I was pretty excited the way that's starting to work out. So, and as far as Mark goes, Jen, they're right on the money. For anybody that tells you that we can't run our own forest, that's wrong. We should never, ever think that. We can do anything we want to do, and there's nobody that knows better where the projects are that need to be done and need to get done and how to do them than the loggers. So we need to put more confidence and faith in our loggers. We need to do G&A projects. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the G&A itself because it doesn't really bring enough money back to the county, but I think our Congress is working really hard to make that happen. And so now the county's getting involved. I've worked with Idaho County. We'll get some stuff in place in our county to work with the state. So all we need is everybody to just really support us and push it all the time. And as far as the prescribed burns go, I'm not a fan of prescribed burns because I live in New Meadows and it just sucks down in there, and we breathe that smoke sometimes all spring and all summer and all fall long. So we're kind of sick of it. And usually what ends up happening is they get a forest fire started. We've got 3 plantations that were burned up in the last couple of years that were not necessary. So anyway, sorry.
Can I piggyback on that real quick? Right now we have a huge opportunity as commissioners because of President Trump in office and the 2 executive orders he passed back in March of 2025 that says that he is supporting and he's opening up federal forests for domestic timber production. These are 2 huge opportunities. We've got Tom Schultz up there in Coeur d'Alene, who is listening. He is doing a good job at trying to open up our forests. I don't know if anybody was, so I moved here in 2023, and we've been here for 3 years, and there are people that are multi-generational that have been here for forever. And I am a newbie, and I think I probably another 20 years I'll still be a newbie here. But the thing is that the Adams County was the most prosperous county in Idaho. And now we're at the very bottom. And that's because the federal government shut down our timber. And like Mark said, we're 68%. So commissioners are extremely important, not just to support, but to actively advocate for timber harvest.
Absolutely. So what can you guys do as commissioners to help advocate for that? Go ahead.
Go to all the timber associations and state timber governance agencies and tell them what we want. Like we want timber money, let's get timber money. I mean, there's a lot I have to learn. I wish I could tell you I was a larch expert or a western red cedar expert, but I'm not. I mean, I have a lot to learn, but I'm willing to fight for what the people want. Like, if that's what gets us to be prosperous as a county, I'm for it.
You know, I think, I met with the Forest Service, I'm trying to remember if it was a week or 2 weeks ago. They came up to my place because the national forest behind my place is getting eat up by bugs. But as I'm out there and talking to them, if I remember correctly, they said they have 6 sales out right now, which this is a big step up from where it has been in the past. I don't disagree, there you are, that said that we need to advocate. I think we are doing that. Obviously, and don't take this the wrong way, Vicki, but you're more vocal about it than I am. But she is speaking for the commissioners when she is there. So we are advocating. If you have suggestions, any of you, of how we can advocate more, I would be happy to hear it.
Excellent, thank you.
I have one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like when it comes to the timber sales, as the Forest Service goes out and marks the sale, it usually takes anywhere from, it can take them sometimes up to like, what is it, 3 years to mark something out, and then what, 6 years later?
It does not take them that long. No, it does not.
Well, no, I'm saying at the government pace they go at. They mark these timber sales, and then years later, they actually get harvested. That's if they don't burn before that.
It's because we have to go through the NEPA process, which is the National Environmental Policy Act, and then we have to also go through all the different ESA, which is the Endangered Species Act, and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't have anything to do with marking it out. That's the easy part, right? That's the easy part.
So it's all the other stuff we have to go through.
That's what's so important that you need to understand, is that the forest right now, this is the hugest opportunity this state, the Pacific Northwest of Idaho has ever had in the past 40 years since the ESA shut down the forests. Right now, we have an opportunity to get back out there and get in the forest and start harvesting things before it burns, which costs us $800 billion in 2024 to put out not the state of Idaho, but the country. $800 billion to put out fires. And
yeah.
the thing is
very important.
So the Trump administration is not only opening up the forest, they are also streamlining the NEPA process and trying to subdue the ESA.
Excellent.
Preach it, sister.
Yep.
I agree.
Great, excellent. Let's move on to another question we have that was pre-submitted to the audience. This was, I think, specifically for Kyle Johnson. However, we'll also have Darren answer part of it. So this was, please tell the audience any involvement you have had with the county commissioners, i.e. attending commissioner meetings or presenting concerns or ideas for the commissioner's consideration. Please explain what your perceived responsibilities for a county commissioner would be and how you would fulfill those responsibilities while holding a full-time job.
Well, it'll be tough, but as far as the responsibilities of commissioners, writing ordinances, running the budget, I know there's a lot of things to do. I've been to a few commissioner meetings and I see what goes through, like, what's Carol Walsh? I've seen Carol Walsh there with her fire mitigation stuff. There's a lot of stuff that they need to do that And some of them I'm not aware of because I've only been to a few of their meetings. But I'm dedicated. My employer is gonna work with me for all the days that I need to do it. I'm gonna switch my schedule to Sunday, Monday off. I have the support of so many people that I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make it work. Like, I'm a very busy person. I'm on the school board now. I'm just dedicated to this community because I want to do it for you. I want to do it for me. I want to do it for my family. I want to do it for future generations. I've been telling people I'm going to run for commissioner for the last 3 years. And so here I am. I stood up to the plate, and I'm very passionate about this place. So I will get it all figured out, and I'm willing to learn. I don't know it all. I wish I did, but I don't, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to work for you.
Excellent, and we actually they wrote their own out for you, Darren, so this is your question was, please tell the audience of your responsibilities of county commissioner and the duties that you have been assigned during your current term and the new projects that you have successfully completed.
What was that first thing again?
Tell the audience of your responsibilities as a county commissioner and the duties you've been assigned during your term.
So the responsibilities of county commissioners, it's a huge job as you learn about it. The first and foremost is the budget for the county, which it seems crazy. The budget goes into effect October and we've started the budget process for this year already. It takes months to go through everything, all the timelines through that. The actual responsibilities, what I've been assigned. So the landfill is probably the first one, and that's, you had talked about a project. We are not completed yet for a project that I've got to give credit to Mike Paradis because it started, I don't even know do you remember what year that started, the project for expansion out there?
Just before COVID, and then.
Okay.
That really.
So any of you who are not aware, a very large project out at the landfill to take it through a long time. If you ask an engineer a question, you never get exactly an answer. So I can't tell you the exact life of this landfill, but this has taken us years into the future, and then the planning to take us many years after that. That project will be completed this year. We've got the cell line, everything on there. We've got some great troops, Road and Bridge and Solid Waste have worked for a couple of years now getting things done. And as you all know, we only have that short window. It's either rain, snow, or you get to work for a few days. So we're in that few days again right now. But other boards, the YCAP, which don't hold it against me, our office here in the town has not been manned well. They've been trying to hire someone for months, but YCAP is one of them. I serve on the Idaho Jail Standards Board as the commissioner representative, the Idaho Misdemeanor Probation and Training Council Board, the Public Justice and Public Safety Committee, and I forget the name of it.
Digby.
No, Digby. Yes, there's that one too. That was not the one that I was trying to think of. But that's kind of the 911 board, and then the land use and infrastructure planning committee.
Awesome.
I think that's it.
We're running a little short on time, so we're going to take maybe just a couple more questions, and let's try to make them a little more.
So I'll try to make it quick. My original question was going to be about the ambulances knowing the addresses. I'm a scanner listener, and there's been multiple times in the last couple months where the caller, the reporting party, has actually called back and said they just passed my house, and 5 minutes later they're way down the road. And I don't mean it, I understand, like Kyle said, 20 minutes for them to get there. So I'm gonna roll it over into information for all of you as a scanner listener, that we really do not realize how thinly spread not only our ambulance, but our deputies. For instance, the other day there was a call in New Meadows on the way to Riggins, and unself-inflicted but self-inflicted bullet, bleeding out, boom, boom, boom. And our deputies were clear in council. And so, you know, they're trying to fly all the way over there. And so we really need to consider passing the levy that's going to support these. And also today, Kyle Johnson is out car washing with the kids to raise money for all of their equipment stolen from the Connex at Boise Cascade again. So I'm pretty sure that city that needs to do some kind of security there, but if you guys see something, say something, because there's a lot of crimes going on, and our deputies are spread so thin that they just can't be at all these places to help, you know, with things like this, because realistically, these kids and these parents are spending money and doing work for something that was no fault of their own. 2 teams worth of stuff was stolen from there. So they can't just be driving through the park, making sure people aren't breaking in and etc. And as far as the EMS, you know, I don't know what kind of training they get to know addresses, to know, you know, because 5 minutes in a stroke victim is huge, and it happens time and again. So I think that this levy should be very important, and again, if you see something, say something.
Excellent.
The deputies will work it out. If it's not, you know, no problem, then no problem.
Okay, did you have a question for the commissioner, candidates?
Well, it was, you know, what kind of training do they have, but they've kind of gone over that.
Okay, perfect. We have another questions for the candidates. Yes. Yes.
Is there going to be any more road sealing like you did out towards the dump? Are you going to extend that on? Are you going to do, I think I heard something about the Fruitvale, Glendale Road.
So there are going to be more road sealing, yes, like there was during the dump.
And whose idea was that? I'd like to know.
Short answer is yes.
Great idea.
I don't know exactly who the idea was. I don't want to. I know I have fought to extend that each year because it does work. It takes a little time. Yes, we have added other roads in the last couple of years because that from the highway to the landfill has turned into a pretty decent road.
Yes, it has.
The only problem is now people speed. But I think they sped before just to hit the top of the bumps. But that's one of the priorities we try to do. You know, I can't remember how many miles of road. I know Adam told me just a while back, but there's a lot of miles of road in this county that we're in charge of. But we are trying every year, the bigger roads, to maintain them into a better condition. Fruitvale, Glenvale, we are doing a different type of a treatment this year that it's actually about the same cost as the stuff we're doing out off of Goodrich. But they're saying it should last 5 to 10 years, which, if that works, that is absolutely amazing. But we will be continuing that.
Kyle, did you want to say something about that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've driven these roads forever. I get it. Yeah, it'd be nice if they were all pristine, but that's the frost heaves, and I'd like to see more, but in due time.
Awesome. Let's take one more from the audience. If we have one more, no? Okay, well, let's do our closing statements. You guys each get 1 minute to make a closing statement. Go ahead. Thank you.
Well, as a contender, I'd like to thank everybody for their time. I know it takes a lot just to come down and sit through some of this. I'm proud to be a part of this community. All you ladies, you guys did good tonight. I know it's tough to get up here and talk. Just know that when I go to bed, I'm thinking about Adams County. I'm thinking about the future, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. I want to see this place thrive. I love council. I pour my heart out to here. Like, most of you know me. You know I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm here to do what's best for everybody. I want to thank you again, and everybody have a good night and drive safe.
I hate to say the same thing you just said, but thank you guys. It does take time, you know, yes. Thank you all for coming out. It is very important. It's nice to see so many people want to be involved and just see where we're at. A couple of different things. First, it's been an honor to serve you guys for the last 3+ years. It's, you know, I know I heard a lot of people say, well, it's 3 meetings a month, and technically that's right, but I know you can ask anybody else who's a commissioner here. There's most of the weeks, it's 3 or 4 days a week. You're taking phone calls, doing emails, talking to people, doing different things. So it is a bigger job than what a lot of people realize it would be. I would just like to tell you guys, I will still continue to be a strong supporter of your personal property rights. I'm a big believer, your piece of property is your piece of property. The government should not tell you what you can do on that property to an extent. The group of commissioners we have right now are all big property rights, so it's amazing to see that. The other thing is first responders, 24 years in the sheriff's office. I know Ryan, I consider a good personal friend. That's something that I fight for all the time. We need more deputies. We need trained deputies. They've got to be out on the road. I can't remember who it was that had said we need more out there. I think it was you, Sherry. I could not agree more. It's trying to figure out how to make that pot of money stretch to everyone. There is not a single job in this county that is more important than the others. Obviously, my heart lies with law enforcement because that's where my career has been, but it doesn't matter if you're doesn't matter. Any job in the county, it takes that cog to make everything work. So I look forward to, or I hope I can earn your vote and get out May 19th. Thank you.
Awesome, this is wonderful. Thank you all so much again. We're going to do a quick fire round of last minute questions. And we also have a representative from our school district here who would like to say something about the levy, I believe, the proposed levy real quick. Why don't you come on up and say a quick word about that, and then we'll throw you into the questions round. If we have a quick last minute questions for any of the candidates after this.
I'll try to be quick. I'm Brian Joyce, I'm Superintendent of Schools here at Council School District. Just want to remind everybody we're running a levy this year and next $250,000 for each year for 2 years, which will be about a $50.52 hit per $100,000 of property tax. So get out and vote on May 19th. And it's going to go for instructional aides, where the $250,000 is paid for our instructional aides who work primarily in this building.
Okay, and we will continue. We're going to do a fire round. You guys got 5 minutes. Raise your hand, state your question quickly. If you forgot something and you're like, oh my goodness, I really wanted to ask them that and I forgot it, this is your chance. Okay, yes?
I'll just yell. So this is for the coroners. So with your jobs, how easy is it for you guys to get out of your jobs during the middle of the day when there's a call?
How easy is it for you to get out of your jobs in the middle of the day when there is a call for the coroners?
I currently only work 2 or 3 days a week at the hospital. That's a 12 to 14-hour shift. So I've got 4 to 5 other days where I'm available. And then we always plan to have, or I plan to have a deputy to help me on the 2 days or 3 days where I am at the hospital.
I work at the health clinic, and I can leave anytime I need to, and I have the full support of the other half of my executive team.
Awesome. Okay, anyone else? Quick round and state who it's for. If you have another quick question that you forgot, you really wanted to ask over here? Yes, gentleman in the back.
This question is for candidate Morton. Recently in another public meeting, a couple weeks, a month ago,
you indicated that you were not in favor of the electoral college, and I was wondering what changed your mind tonight. You said you are in favor of that.
Well, I remember that meeting, and I never did say I was not in favor of it. I just was asking you why it was extra important to put in the bylaws, just out of curiosity, so that I would be informed why you felt so strongly about it.
Well, I can follow up. If you can hear me, we feel strongly about it because as a rural state, without electoral college and other rural states, we would have essentially very little representation at the presidential level, and it appeared you were coming through as though you didn't feel that you were much more in favor of the one person, one vote, and the what's the word for the instead of the electoral college, the popular vote. That seemed to be coming through your message.
Yeah, well, wasn't my intention. I just was curious why it was so important to your group.
For the reasons that I stated.
Yeah.
It gives us much more positive representation.
Yeah, and you guys definitely stated that, for sure.
Thank you.
Perfect. Anyone else? Any of the candidates? Yes,
I have another question. This is for the commissioners.
for the commissioners.
The Rural Health Transformation Fund, do you guys plan on going after any of the Rural Health Transformation Funds for EMS?
Do you plan on going after any of the rural health transformation funds for EMS?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes.
They said yes.
I've gotta have more information about it.
Come see me later.
Okay.
I'm also not in the know on that, so.
Come see me later.
Okay.
Great. Anyone else?
Brian?
In the back. For Brian?
Brian, do you know what, so I asked the commissioners or actually the clerks what SB 636 was. It was an important piece of legislation that just passed through the very final days of legislative session. Do you know what that is about?
Yes, so this is actually a continuation of a bill, property tax relief bill, which the state has used. They transferred some money from the state lottery to different things, which pays down levies and bonds in school districts. So if you paid attention to your, we currently have a levy in place right now for $130,000. If you paid attention to your tax things, it'll show the CSD 13 and $0, so you paid no money. That was that bill. This is a continuation of that bill going into this current year. So we don't know what that fund's going to look like. Last year it was significantly more than $130,000. Even the state doesn't know how much money we're going to get, but we're ballparking about $120,000 will come in from this, which will affect, if the levy passes, it will drop the rate that is paid.
One more. Last chance. Fight for it. Who wants that question? Yes, in the back.
Me?
Go for it. Yeah. Oh, wait, were there two? I don't know. I just saw you.
Just me?
Yeah.
Mine was for school board. I was curious because I saw the levy pop up, and for the amount that it is, it looks like it's about twice as much as the previous one, correct? How many children is that going to serve, and how many people will that employ?
How many children will it serve, and how many people will the levy employ?
So it's going to be a combination of things. So part of that pre-K that we pay over here, that levy would pay for that. We do not get paid from the state for pre-K. We also have full-day kindergarten, which that would also pay for that as well. We only get paid for half-day kindergarten from the state, so the additional half is paid through the levy. Right now, what we're budgeting is about 6.5 aides, which about 3.5 of those are one-to-one aides for some of our higher needs kids.
Required.
Yep, and it's required. We can't, so if, whether we have this levy or not, we're paying those 3.5 aides because we have to by federal law.
Thank you.
All right. Can I have all of our candidates just stand up one more time and we give them all just a giant round of applause? Thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you all for running. And we are going to conclude, and if you have questions for any of these people afterwards, they, I think, are going to stick around and be able to talk to you one-on-one. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Have a great evening.